So is this a wake-up call for LeBron James? Does he finally realize that white supremacy, systemic oppression, the social injustices of black people in America and around the world is a serious problem, and he needs to, be more involved in it? Is this something he's just going to be more conscious about? Black empowerment, black economics, right? Is this an overall wake-up call for LeBron James? Hell to the no. Hell no. LeBron James is too deep into white supremacy. He's too dependent on their resources. He's just too far in. Okay? He's in too deep. Way in too deep. So, no. This ain't no wake-up call. Yeah, sure. He says, oh, yeah, being black in America is tough, right? And racism is always... listen, we know that. We know that. And here's the thing. I like LeBron James off the court. Off the court, squeaky clean. This guy has been a model citizen throughout his career, his entire career, ever since he stepped foot in the NBA court out of high school in 2003. He was raised by a single mother, and he has shown the complete opposite statistically of being raised by a single black mother and just creating a legacy for him and his family. I mean, this guy's been married, got 3 kids. Of course, one of the greatest, not only NBA players, but one of the greatest athletes, period, of all time. Right? So I'm going to briefly talk about this story that LeBron James, one of his houses, of course, this guy is a billionaire, right? He signed $1 billion contract with Nike, so he can have properties all over the damn world. So he has a house out in, I believe, is Brentwood, California. One of his houses there got vandalized with the racial epithet nigger, right? And so I'm going to play the clip of him responding about that and give you guys my thoughts about what he said about that. And we'll keep it moving after that. So let me play this clip real quick.
One of the greatest sporting events that we have in sports. Race and what's going on comes again. And on my behalf and my family's behalf. But I look at it as this. If this is a shed of light and continue to keep the conversation going on my behalf, then I'm okay with it. My family is safe. At the end of the day, they're safe, and that's the most important. But it just goes to show that that racism will always be a part of the world, a part of America. And hate, in America, especially for African American, is living every day. And even though that that it's concealed most of the time, people hide their faces and will say things about you when they see that smile on your face. It's alive every single day. And I think back to Emmett Till's mom, actually. It's kind of one of the first things I thought of. And the reason that she had an open casket is because she wanted to show the world what her son went through as far as a hate crime and, being black in America. So it's like it doesn't, no matter how much money you have, no matter how famous you are, no matter how many people admire you, being black in America is tough, and we got a long way to go. For us as a society and for us as African Americans until we feel equal in America. But
all right, so that's the politically correct answer from LeBron James. First of all, being black in America, you're an open target. That's basically, you're a death sentence. You're a walking death sentence being black in America. We live in a system of racism, white supremacy, and that's what you're dealing with, okay? Like you said, no matter how much money you got, you're looked at as black. I remember the incident a couple weeks back with that coach from Golden State Warriors. I can't think of his name right now. I gotta Google the shit. Golden State Warriors acting head coach. What's his name again? Okay, yeah, Mike Brown. There we go. So Mike Brown said a story about when he was playing San Antonio Spurs, about when he was driving his Range Rover, and he kept emphasizing Range Rover. He was in front of the San Antonio Spurs buses, or I guess they're police-led vehicles to get to the arena, and the police officers were trying to tell him to get out the way, and he wasn't abiding by their rules out, on the highway. And Mike Brown was like basically laughing it off because he thought it was really funny. Right, the police officers didn't know who the hell he was. They just knew that he was a goddamn black guy in a Range Rover. You're a black guy, period. Don't care what kind of car you got. It could be a Bentley, one of them. I saw a video about a $13 million Rolls Royce that looked like a yacht. It doesn't matter what kind of car you got. Is my point. Your skin, your melanin, is a threat to the dominant white society. Okay, so Mike Brown was just laughing it off like, yeah, Coach Popovich called me and didn't know it was me, and then he was like, but you should have got out of the way, and stuff like that. He was just laughing it off like it was a big ass joke. But again, it doesn't matter how much money you got. You are a threat to the dominant white society. So going back to LeBron James, okay, his response to the incident, the video I just played, I'm glad that he publicly states that, of course, racism is a problem, stuff like that. Those are good sound bites to say, but actions speak louder than words, right? So it would be refreshing to see him do tangible things like a Colin Kaepernick in the community, right? That kind of thing. It will be very refreshing, but I highly doubt that'll happen. But LeBron James is suffering from the good nigga mentality, because he's too deep into the dominant white society's resources. He just signed a $1 billion contract with Nike. And so when you are so dependent on their resources, it's impossible to fight against and replacing this broken system of racism, white supremacy with a system of justice. It's just impossible. So coupled with the fact that, when you left Cleveland, back in 2010 to go to the Miami Heat, your owner, right? Your owner, Dan Gilbert, you have an owner that makes more money than you. Dan Gilbert wrote this letter about you, right? And I'll read part of this letter. Quote, right here, I'm going to read this part where it says, quote, I personally guarantee that Cleveland Cavaliers will win an NBA championship before the self-titled former king wins one. Right? And this is what I talk about all the time about black people suffering from mental disorders. One of them being Stockholm Syndrome, right? Being in line with your oppressor, showing compassion, showing love for your oppressor. LeBron James, after he won titles with Miami Heat, went right back to his oppressor, right back to Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Despite this letter, despite the fact that at the end of the letter, like you said, he guaranteed a championship without LeBron James, even though that's a lie. LeBron James came back and won a championship for the first time ever. And in this end of this letter, he made it known that he's a majority owner. He owns your ass. The majority owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers. All right. So black folks, you know, black people, you have an owner. That owner is from the dominant white society. So you play for the Cleveland Cavaliers. You got an owner in Dan Gilbert. You got a $1 billion contract with Nike. You have an owner in Phil Knight, who's worth about $20 billion. Again, it doesn't matter how much money you got. You're a perceived threat because of your skin, because of your melanin, and because of the dominant white society controls the wealth and the resources, all 9 areas of activity in this country and around the world. Right? But like I said before, this is not a wake-up call for LeBron James. He already knew what it is. He's just too far deep into the dominant white society's resources. Yeah, he can acknowledge racism, which is great. Great sound bites. He could say, yeah, racism is always going to be a problem, which it is. I mean, that's your typical answer. You're going to say. You'll be a fool to think otherwise, right? But again, it will be refreshing to see him do tangible things in the community, a la a Colin Kaepernick, but that won't happen at all. Okay, so it is what it is, family. I think the house right now, they have that, the house that got vandalized, they had fixed that, and the racial epithet, the N-word, was taken out. So you know, it is what it is, family. I'm not surprised by that, by the vandalism. I'm pretty sure there's other accounts of, especially during the time he left Cleveland, other accounts that not even been reported, or just not reported as this story here that happened. That's much more worse in terms of stuff being vandalized and letters being sent to him and stuff like that. You know, we live in a system of racism, white supremacy, so you can't be surprised by this stuff at all. You can't. Anyway, family, those are my thoughts on that. Leave your comments down below about this story. Let me know about this story, and if you're following the NBA Finals, let me know who you guys think will win between Cleveland and Golden State Warriors. Do you have LeBron James and Cleveland Cavaliers winning, or do you have Golden State winning? Me personally, I have Golden State winning this series in 5 games. I think Cleveland has, you know, they don't have a defense they can stop. Not only Steph, not only Kevin Durant, not only Klay Thompson. You got Draymond Green, right? So they don't have the personnel to deal with those guys. So I think, you know, it's like I said, it'll be Golden State in 5. It'll be competitive the first 3 quarters, and then Golden State will just pull it away in the 4th, and Golden State will win this series in 5 games. So those are my thoughts on that. Anyway, family, this is Chauncey, aka the Black Separatist. Make sure you follow me on social media at the Black Separatist, Twitter and Instagram. Both links will be down below in the description. Until next time, Chauncey, aka the Black Separatist, signing out. Peace.